What's up, guys? It is Dr. Murphy with Murphy Medical Associates. Today's date is the 24th of March, 2021, and we just lit Twitter on fire. What? What was that you say? Yeah, it was going to be a simple day where we are going to cover our weight loss Wednesdays here at Murphy's Medical Minute, and instead I sent a bunch of Twitter trolls going crazy. That's right. Crazy. Yeah, it's one of those amazing things that we can do on social media. So, in honor of Weight Loss Wednesdays, I got you some donuts, but make sure you get your vaccine. That's right. Krispy Kreme's burning down the internet today on Murphy's Medical Minute. All right, guys, let's go through it today. You know the drill. You know the drill. Here's what's going on. What happened today? Well, we have a pandemic of epic proportions here in the United States, where we know that patients who are obese have a much higher risk of dying from COVID. So what does Krispy Kreme do? They give everyone donuts. They give everyone donuts. And so what's a guy like me do? I say, listen, you know, Krispy, I get it. I get it. You just had one of your original Krispy Kremes burned down in Atlanta, a Krispy Kreme that was owned by Shack Attack, and now you got to do something. Got to do something to build the brand, because obesity is killing people with COVID. Obesity is killing people with COVID. So what's a nice doctor to do? Well, you know, you can get Leanna Wen or a couple of other doctors who say, you know, maybe Krispy, you probably shouldn't be putting out there that you can get a free donut a day for life if you get a vaccine. I get it. Vaccines, they matter. We have to vaccinate people. As if dying from COVID isn't enough of a motivation to get vaccinated, as we've demonstrated before. That's right. Here's your donut a day for life. When we call Krispy out on it, guess what happens? STFU, you evil doctor. That's right. Who? All of us could lose weight. And on Weight Loss Wednesdays, I think it's important that we review the fact that we all could probably lose a little weight. We could probably lose a little weight. But in this brilliant collective, Hive collective here in the United States, we've decided that restaurants are safe. That's right, restaurants are safe. Using the same logic as Krispy Kreme's, everyone can have just one. I think Lay's, oh no, is that Pringles had that ad that says, bet you can't just have one. Why? Because food chemists are cooking up designs of food to make us mentally ill. No. They're cooking up food to make us can't have just one. So when Krispy throws out that they're going to give us donuts, we have to use the logic of restaurants are safe by just ducking the virus. And that's what we see right now. Right now, actually, believe it or not, my Twitter is on fire as people are flaming me for speaking out against the Krispy Kreme vaccination strategy. Well, guess what? It's Weight Loss Wednesdays. We're here. We're going to give you some tips to lose weight, because Krispy Kreme is sure not going to do that. Why do we need to lose weight? I think it's pretty evident. The American Psychological Association did a really great review. We hear all the time lockdowns kill, lockdowns lead to suicides, lockdowns lead to heroin or opiate addiction, or in this case, food addiction. Right? Food addiction. And I think we have to be very mature about how we handle this. We need to know there's a risk and a benefit with locking down. The benefit is we can reduce spread. The risk is that people are going to suffer some effects. And as evident on Twitter today, a lot of those effects are mental illness, anger, and fear. But in addition to those things, we know that the pandemic has caused weight gain. I can't say the lockdowns have caused weight gain, but I can tell you that the pandemic has caused weight gain. If we look at the Stress in America survey that was done by the American Psychological Association, 6 in 10 Americans report unwanted weight gain during the pandemic. Put this on top of the fact that over 70% of the United States is already overweight or obese. 71% of the United States going into this pandemic were either overweight or obese. What did we find here? Well, with this self-reported survey, and remember it's a self-reported survey, so it's only as good as the data they present, 48% of people that were millennials reported an average weight gain of 41 pounds or more. And women more so than men. Now, what we know about the women is that they didn't gain as much weight as the men did, but their percentage of weight gain was significant. Who else gained weight? Essential workers, that's right. People like me, going out in the field, driving all over the place, not having the time to cook at home, gained weight. I gained weight too. Thanks a lot, Dunkin' Donuts. Essential workers also, on the flip side of that, about 24% of them report unwanted weight loss. So I wonder how many of those workers contracted COVID, because we know COVID by itself can cause you to lose weight. So obesity, we know, is a major predictor of hospitalization and needing an ICU. So we need to dig into the data here of how we can prevent death from COVID, because COVID is not going anywhere, just like Krispy Kreme. So what's the deal? Here's the deal. Obesity increases ICU risk. It increases hospitalization risk, and it increases mechanical ventilation risk. Those are breathing machines. People on breathing machines. So when someone says to me, oh, just one Krispy Kreme is fine, I am reminded of the hundreds of souls that I've cared for personally who struggle with weight loss every day. They struggle with binge eating disorder. They struggle with having an obesogenic environment, making it very, very difficult for them to lose weight. We know that there's a 48 to 62% increased risk of death with COVID if you're obese. And the major predictor is a BMI 35 or more. Obesity kills a lot of ways with COVID, but one of the biggest issues we have is that we know that our adipokines, these are chemicals that are secreted from our fat cells, make us more likely to burn, and burn in the wrong way. At the same time, these chemicals also reduce our ability to remember and fight off infection. So now there we have it. If you're obese and you have an obesogenic diet and you eat a lot of sugar, you're more at risk of dying from COVID. So get vaccinated. Okay, let's get vaccinated. I think that's a great thing. We've talked about vaccinations and the pros and the cons of the different vaccinations out there. And I even went through the AstraZeneca data with a skeptical eye, recognizing that data by press release is garbage. It's garbage, and the NIH recognizes it as well, which is why they issued a public smackdown to AstraZeneca. Right? So to not go undone, Krispy Kreme lights the house on fire. Krispy Kreme lights the house on fire. How does Krispy Kreme do that? They say, listen, if you can prove that you got vaccinated, if you can prove that you were vaccinated, if you can prove it, then we'll give you a donut for free. Not one, not two. Can I go every day? Yes, every day. Bring us a vaccination card. In the South, there are Krispy Kremes everywhere. I know I would drive home from Connecticut to where I grew up in Pennsylvania, stop in Clark Summit. If the light was on, guess what you'd get? A free Krispy Kreme donut. That's right. So doctors have come out all over the place. Some doctors say, hey, listen, one donut for a vaccine, if it encourages someone to get a vaccine, that's great. And I agree. If the barrier to you getting a vaccination is being bribed by a sugary sweet candy like a Krispy Kreme donut, if that single donut will get you vaccinated, it's probably going to benefit us all. It's probably going to benefit us all. But if it gets you with binge eating disorder on a terrible binge, such that even though you get vaccinated, it's not effective enough and you end up sick with COVID because you didn't lose weight and you're eating Krispy Kremes, then it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So the PR move by Krispy Kreme here has ignited a firestorm on Twitter. And the doctors' reactions are inevitably one of two kinds. Stop being so paternalistic. Or, listen, we appreciate the effort, but, dude, come on. There's got to be a better way. Why don't you just host a vaccine center at your Krispy Kremes? Shut down for the day. Have some people come on in, give the vaccinations at Krispy Kreme. That sounds like a really good way to win. That's a way to encourage more vaccinations, especially for the people who would eat Krispy Kremes. They show up at a Krispy Kreme. It's like, in Boston, they're giving vaccines at Fenway, which I think is brilliant because you get to go into Fenway. All right? So what happens? What happens when you speak up? Well, Leanna Wen here said, hey, Krispy Kreme, I love and I want to thank you for getting people COVID-19 vaccine. All right, she leads with, we appreciate the effort. Every incentive helps. And free donuts may move the needle, but can you think of another way? So what happens? What happens? Well, I can tell you what happens. A food blogger lights this Dr. Leanna Wen on fire. Absolutely lights her on fire. So I go and I protect her. I say, hey, listen, this is not a smart idea. It's not a great public health strategy. Krispy Kreme, it may be a great public relations strategy, and we can see everyone who likes to eat donuts or have the right to eat donuts be defended. Don't get me wrong, right? Hi. Right? Hi. We're going to open up the donuts right here. We're going to have to open up donuts, right? She said, we survived a plague, right? This Twitterati says, we survived a plague. Yeah, so did Leanna Wen, who was in PPE exposing herself every day to COVID. Right? So I don't understand why Leanna Wen should be called a bitch here. Excuse my words. But I think the problem with what we're revealing here, I don't know, can you guys smell that donut? You smell that chemically engineered donut? Yeah, dude. I'll let them sit right here. You guys can take a look. You take a look at the donuts. So, I don't know. I think that the discourse is terminal in the United States if we have foodie minions telling doctors, trying to help people and prevent people from dying from COVID by not advocating a sugar and fat compressed pelleted deep fried food as a public health strategy. Just call me crazy. But you can see it. It's all over the internet. Everyone's going crazy now, right? And one of the people that are biggest risk are our kids. Our kids. And I can't get over this enough. If the Twitterati says, oh, just one donut is good, it's going to be okay, they'll get the vaccine. If we're going to have that on social media, we're going to have to face some reality. And one of those realities is the fact that kids during lockdown, when given just a donut, ended up with weight gain. They increased their soda intake and they increased their chip intake, and their screen time quadrupled. Why? Because on screen time, your social media is like, oh, just a donut, it's okay. No, right? We open up, we close down, we open up, we close down, and kids gain weight. Millennials gain weight. Essential workers gain weight. And apparently in some situations, if you're on social media, you're going to get a lot more angry. We know that summer outside activities for kids don't offset weight loss, right? I mean, don't offset weight gain. We know that during the summertime, that's when kids gain most of their weight. Most of the kids' weight is gained in the summer. It's not gained during school. So we need to keep schools open. We need to keep schools open, primarily because you're not going to get Krispy Kremes in school, I guess. I guess you only get them in the summer. So, to reiterate, obesity needs to be treated aggressively prior to getting COVID-19. And giving free Krispy Kremes to get vaccinations is an ill-fated public health strategy that's going to demonstrate the polarization in the United States that we have. People who want to eat junk food and people who treat the after effects of junk food. Ta-da! I think we found exactly where our 40% of people who aren't going to get vaccinated are. They're the people who believe that they are immune to COVID. They're the people who believe that the vaccine will give us microchips. And they're the people who believe that just a donut is A-OK fine. I'm a board-certified weight loss doctor. I can tell you right now, people with binge eating disorder and diabetes, people with binge eating disorder and diabetes should not be getting free Krispy Kremes. They should be getting free medical care. So, with that being said, I get the same questions all the time. Well, that's great, Doc, but how do we lose weight? Well, welcome to Weight Loss Wednesdays. I'm Dr. Murphy with Murphy Medical Associates. You are here watching Murphy's Medical Minute. In this next minute, or a couple minutes, I'm going to give you some tips to lose weight. I'm going to give you some tips to lose weight. Here's the deal. Lose fat, not muscle. Kids can maintain healthy weights by losing fat but gaining muscle. Lose hunger. Lose hunger. Kids will never lose weight without getting rid of hunger first, right? Lose the guilt, lose the obesogenic environment. How? That's great. How do we burn fat first? How do we keep our fat off of our bodies? Well, we've done a lot of research on this, and what we know for sure is you can see here on the graphic, right? Take a look above you. You can see here on the graphic, high protein diets are the best type of diet to get rid of fat mass and to retain lean muscle mass. Right now, Dr. Norton and Dr. Kalajian are going to be fighting each other, right? I think they're fighting each other. I don't know right now this minute, but they're fighting each other about this whole sort of thing of macronutrients or not, right? Look at that steak. That's one of my babies, right? I made one of those guys, right? So we know that fat mass is the poison here. We know fat mass is the poison with COVID. We know fat mass is the poison with heart disease and a whole host of other ailments. We need to burn fat first. The best way to do that is a diet that emphasizes high protein. High protein. When we're asked which diet is the best diet, we say the food that keeps you full longest. The food that will keep you full longest. This is not that food. This is not that food. All right? That's sugar and fat. Sugar and fat together, carbs and fat together, by themselves, are ice cream. Bread and butter, ice cream. Pasta and oil, ice cream. It is a carbohydrate with a fat, without any fiber. Without any fiber and with minuscule protein. That is a recipe for weight gain. Krispy Kreme. Sorry. That's the truth. Yeah, I get it. We survived a pandemic. We deserve it. Deserve what? Diabetes? Obesity? Heart disease? Whatever you want. Enjoy your donut. Enjoy your donut. I'll tell you this. It's not going to keep you full. The best diet is a diet that's going to keep you full. So how do we stay full? What foods give us the best bang for the buck, so to speak? The best bang for the buck. I just showed you right here that the high protein diet leads to the best fat burning situation, and it leads to the least amount of muscle mass, lean muscle mass lost. You keep your muscle, you lose your fat on a high protein diet. So when we look at what keeps us full longest, it's protein and fiber. So now is there any confusion as to what diet is going to treat your hunger and enable you to burn fat first and keep it off? The diet that keeps you full. Proteins and fibers. keep you full. Proteins and fibers keep you full relative to their energy content. So pound for pound, the best diet around is protein and fiber. Add in some fats in smaller amounts, and you can stay full longer. Fat will make you full longer, but pound for pound, protein is best in town. Protein is best in town. So now that we're going to add a diet that has protein and fiber. You know what has protein and fiber? Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, my corned beef and cabbage. Skip the potatoes, the corned beef and cabbage. Protein, 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 and fiber. Protein and fiber. That's what you want to eat. So, who's going to do the best? It's not going to be the kids that are hungry. It's not going to be the kids that are drinking their calories. It's not going to be the kids that are eating out of boxes and bags. It's not going to be the adults eating Krispy Kremes because they got a vaccine. I think those people just want, the people who were telling the physicians that we're stupid and we deserve to die because we're telling people not to eat Krispy Kremes, it's got some problems, some serious problems. And I'm hopeful they can address them, but right now we know that living in an obesogenic, stress-filled environment is not going to help you lose weight. However, once you've lost that weight, we found that there are significant determinants for weight loss maintenance. 3 magical weight loss maintenance tricks. You ready? Regular weigh-ins, regular activity, and reduction of calories with paying attention to macronutrients. What doesn't affect it? Age, gender, and socioeconomic status. Doesn't matter what your age, gender, or socioeconomic status is if you do 2 of the 3 things I just mentioned. Regular weigh-ins, caloric restriction, and activity. You only need to do 2 out of the 3 of those, and you'll be able to keep the weight off. Keep in mind how you eat, what you eat, to identify your triggers and lose the obesogenic environment. Boxes, bags, Grubhub, DoorDash, Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' Donuts, I don't care. If it's a carb with a fat without fiber, it's ice cream. It's ice cream. So we really have to focus on that. Weight loss is hard. Losing weight is hard. I mean, just look at it in society. Over 70% of America is overweight or obese. Over 70% of America is overweight or obese. But you can do it. The key to weight loss is to treat your hunger. Pound for pound, protein is the best meal in town. Mix your protein with fiber. Mix your protein with fiber to treat your hunger. Don't listen to your detractors. You're going to get a lot of confusion out there. A lot of people have their proton pellets to push. A lot of people have their Krispy Kremes to push. And you just got a lot of angry people during this pandemic that want to bring you down. So find a good support system. Follow people who are positive on social media. Remove yourself from the negative on social media because you will fall short. It is next to impossible not to fall short. It is next to impossible not to fall short. You know why? I'm going to tell you why it is next to impossible to fall short. Let's take a look. What are those guys? What are those guys? Honestly, listen, those are donuts. Those are donuts. And if a donut is going to make you get a vaccine, if a donut is the motivator for you to get a vaccine instead of preventing death and hospitalization from COVID, then go ahead. Have 1 donut, not 6. Not a donut a day for the rest of the year. Not a donut a day for the rest of the year, Crispy. We got to find a better way. And we also have to find a better way on Twitter. Because lighting people on fire by merely the suggestion that, that food is fuel and we need to take care of our bodies because our bodies are made to be well if we eat right. Weight Loss Wednesdays. Here's the tips. You ready? Tip 1, eat protein. Tip 2, eat fiber. Tip 3, drink water. A full third of all of our hunger is thirst. By eating protein and fiber, you can treat your hunger. By drinking before eating, you can defeat a full third of all of your hunger. And that'll help you lose weight. Move around, go outside, get some sun. The CDC is not going to tell you about getting sun and going for a walk, at least not during the pandemic. But let me tell you, the key to surviving this pandemic was walking and sun. Being outside, you are 25 times less likely to get COVID, and you're more likely to lose weight. So on Weight Loss Wednesdays, I want to tell everyone, you can lose the weight. You can do it. Over half of America gained unwanted pounds during this pandemic. We have to take it off. We have to take it off. And the first way to take weight off is treat your hunger. Don't feed your hunger with carbs. Don't feed your hunger with Krispy Kremes. Water first. Then if you're still hungry, protein and fiber. And get some activity. Remember, we're made to be well. Thanks for joining Wednesday's Weight Loss Wednesday Murphy Medical Minute. Today's date is 24th of March, 2021. I get to go see a whole bunch of Twitterati tell me how awful I am. I hope you enjoy your day. Hope you get outside and enjoy it. Maybe I should just block them. Did you just block them? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to block them. Either way, I'm going to tell you this. You can lose weight. We all need to lose weight. And we can do it together. Be well. We are made to be well.
With